Christians, and I would say Akans in particular, in Ghana, more than any other religion. And what am I talking about? It was Islam that introduced circumcision to Ghana before Christianity came here. In fact, in the traditional religion, nobody is expected to cut the body of a royal. Never. Once if there is any mark on you as a royal, you can never ascend a stool.
So the former royals were uncircumcised?
They were uncircumcised completely.
In Tree, you say kotiboto.
That is what you have said.
Okay.
So if today you sit here and you think you are circumcised, then Kafui, you owe it to
the Muslims.
To the Muslims. And then propagated it. Those they call them wanzam.
I can confirm I'm circumcised.
Very good. Maybe we'll check it.
No, I know.
The wanzam people went about doing their work, and it became a sign of pride for every Akan to be circumcised. So if all the chiefs have shifted to that, then much glory and honor to the Islamic people.
Fantastic.
That is what at least today I will say about them.
This is just a wonderful journey into history and culture and religion, and that's why we love you here on the show, Mr. Yao Anoche Frimpong.
Thank you.
Dr. Osai, anything on your heart you want to talk about? Anything that is you just want on your mind that you want to avert our attention to?
Yes, definitely. Let me say Barakat Salah to our colleagues. I think the celebration was good, and it also offered some of us the opportunity to rest. But I want to draw your attention to a document I cited over the weekend on open defecation. I noticed that one of our MPs has successfully defended her thesis, and the topic was on the use of the beaches as a resource. And open defecation came in.
Okay.
And I think we have to congratulate Agnes Namumulate,
the
MP for Krowo.
This is a PhD?
NDC MP for Krowo. Yes,
PhD thesis.
A PhD thesis.
Fantastic.
So maybe you may have to bring her here one of the days so that she will share her findings
as
far as open defecation along our beaches are concerned, and the recommended actions that she thinks that Ghanaians would have to put in place.
I'm sure Alan would like to read that thesis.
Definitely.
based on his trips.
One other thing that caught my attention, which I think it should set us thinking as Ghanaians, is this business of institutions writing to Auditor General to exercise his surcharges and disallowance powers. It's something that should set all of us thinking. And I think the Constitution is clear on how he should proceed. But there is a history to this. There have been instances where the former Auditor General has gone to court, disallowed and surcharged people, and they have gone to set it aside. So the conversation must continue. I would encourage the CSOs to engage with the Auditor General and delve more into it. What we should also understand is that the Auditor General doesn't implement his recommendations. He makes the recommendations, and other institutions and persons implement them.
Good.
So we should look at it from both sides. But it is a conversation that must be had, because it goes to the root of financial management in Ghana.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So those are the things you want to be thinking about. The beaches as a resource, and how we can deal with the scourge of the issues surrounding the Auditor General and the surcharges. And then there's the contribution of Muslims and Islam to the culture, the history, the traditions, the practices of us Ghanaians. Our WhatsApp number is 055 556 1034. 055 556 1034. And our hashtag is GTV Breakfast. I want to just take off with some security news, because yesterday there was a story about a terrorist attack in Togo. And of late, Togo has been featuring a lot in the news. And so what really saddened me was that 7 children were killed in this attack 2 days ago. It happened on Sunday. And there's a See Something, Say Something campaign that has been set up by the Ministry of National Security to get us sensitized on issues of So 7 children were reported to have been killed by an improvised bomb explosion in Togo. On Saturday, witnesses said they were woken by a loud blast late on Saturday in the Savannah region in the north of the country. The army is quoted as saying, quote, "An investigation is ongoing to determine the circumstances of this explosion and identify the perpetrators." So, militants linked to Islamic State and Al-Qaeda have attacked numerous targets in a string of countries in the Sahel. And the Togolese army has been on high alert following the country's first deadly militant attack just in May. And when 8 soldiers were killed near the border with Burkina Faso, I also saw footage of somebody trying to fire a gun in a market. Fortunately, that person was overwhelmed. And so Togo last month declared a state of emergency in its northern region following the attack. If you look at this and then you look at what is happening in the sub-region in Burkina Faso, where a lot of these militants have taken a significant proportion of the country, these days it's a bit quiet, but Nigeria has a lot of action going on there. Churches being attacked, children being kidnapped, church people being kidnapped, jailbreaks, and then there was a news item today about us being on alert that these Boko Haram people could end up being in Ghana. It just paints a very worrying picture. And so I thought it would be a good idea to just speak to an international relations analyst to just give us a sense of some context on this, whether this is something that we should be expecting, whether they're surprised by all of this. And so we'll be calling on Mr. Nketia. He is an international relations analyst, and he will be giving us some context on this. His full name, I'll get for you right now, is Michael Kojo Nketia. He's an international relations analyst. And as soon as we get him on the line, we will speak to him on the issue. But, Lawyer Frimpong, when you hear stories like this, what do you think should be the reaction of us here in Ghana? Should we think, hey, tighten up?
Yeah, definitely. We should be prepared to receive them, if I should put it that way. We should be prepared to receive them, because at any time they can do something very negative in Ghana. Many people think that Ghana is peaceful, Ghana is isolated. No, we don't live on an island. What is happening over there can one day happen to us. But I believe that if Ghana has not experienced that much, it's simply because after independence, we launched a compulsory free education for the northern part of Ghana. And I should say that the Muslims indulge themselves in it very seriously, because you see that these organizations use the name of religion in order to attract the youth. And for the youth to be attracted, they should be very simple-minded, naive, and not educated, and also poor and discriminated against. So if you live in a society where there is equality, equal treatment for everybody, no discrimination or segregation, and people are well educated, they are respected enough not to be made to think that you are Muslim, so you are this, you are Christian, so you are that. But we see ourselves as one, as if coming from the same mother. It becomes very difficult for anybody to penetrate. And that has been the lock that Ghana has experienced all along. And I pray that for years to come, no Ghanaians will be found to be among such people. But if they are foreigners, as always they are, what we have to do is to guard against their coming. The army should not comfortably sit in Accra. I believe that this is the time that the army should so technically and strategically find itself everywhere, not only along the borders, but even within the cities. Sometimes you see a group of young men on motorbikes, numbering 50, 100 and beyond. And the moment they start coming, all the vehicles will have to park for them to penetrate. Yeah. I believe that the time has come that the nation sits up and stop such practice.
Exactly.
Yeah, because before they enter, they will send their spies. And when they see that this is an opportunity, one day they also do the same thing. When you go to the border areas like Elubo, Aflao and others, the means of transportation between Ghana and the other countries is the Okada.
Yeah, motorbikes.
And that is what they use. And that is why the nation should center its attention on such practice. And then,
okay, great. I think what you're saying is really relevant. Sometimes I get worried. I'm driving through town and you see a convoy of about 50 motorbikes, and they forcibly want you to stop so that they come and pass by, and it's probably
It should be
going
stopped
to a wedding or a funeral,
Yeah.
and it's really alarming, Dr. Sai.
It is, Kafue. And I think when we see these things, the security agencies must act fast. Because especially when no security person is leading them and you don't know where they are coming from and all of that. But let me also say that we should improve the connection between intelligence and security.
Okay.
Because the security agencies act on information. So once there is a break in the relationship between intelligence and security, we are bound to fail.
Okay.
And citizens on the ground are expected to feed security agencies with information.
I think I like that. Improve the nexus between intelligence and security. On that note, let's get to the lines now. Speak with Mr. Michael Kojo Nketia. He's an international relations analyst. Michael, good morning. Welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Good morning, Captain.
It's good to have you here. So with these events in Togo, what's the context? For me, I was shocked to hear in May that there was an attack, and then now, just a couple of days ago, another one took place. What's the context? Can you paint the picture? Can you set the background for us?
Well, good morning to your viewers again. To begin with, we must say that what is currently happening in Togo is not a situation in isolation. In the past 5 years, there has been an insurgency of terrorist attacks in the West African sub-region, particularly in the Sahel area. This is attributed to a lot of security lapses in countries like Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Nigeria, in Niger, and also in Chad, and also in parts of Cameroon. Now, with regards to the Sahel, it first started in Mali, and with the overthrow of the civilian administration by the military junta as a result of perceived insecurity in the country. Currently in Mali, about 50% of the land space is occupied by terrorist groups and other armed organizations, and as a result of that, the country has become destabilized. When these terrorists and armed groups gain grounds in Mali, they move to Burkina Faso, because what they always seek to do is to expand their territory, seeking to capture natural resources and exploit them. And once they gained a foothold in Burkina Faso, they decided to also spread further to Togo. In November last year, about 7 different attacks were recorded in the Savannah region in the northern part of Togo. And because of these attacks on security posts and agents, the government of Togo, led by President Faure Gnassingbé, issued a state of emergency. First, they initiated an operation called Operation Kwanjore. And Operation Kwanjore was to prevent the infiltration of militants, terrorist groups, and other armed individuals from Burkina Faso to Togo. Once they mounted barriers and checkpoints, these armed groups became agitated because they were using those transits for their weapons, goods, and other contraband activities. And once they initiated Operation Kwanjare, they started attacking the military posts in the northern part of Togo, leading to a declaration of a state of emergency in Togo. Now, since November 2021, recently in May 2022, another security outpost was attacked in the northern part of Togo, resulting in the death of 8 soldiers, and then 13 others sustained various forms of injuries. And then recently, just last weekend, following the Islamic festivities, some young men between the ages of 14 and 18 were attacked, or they were bombed, and 7 of them died. And as a result, we are all currently talking about happenings in Togo. However, what we should know is that it is not happening in Togo alone. There has been a state of insecurity, an atmosphere and condition of insecurity in the West African sub-region, and this has predominantly been attributed by the rise of insurgency. If you remember, when the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria gained foothold in parts of Iraq and Syria, it took a global coalition of willing states, which was led by the United States of America and NATO, to go and fight them. Following the attack on ISIS, most of them left the ranks of ISIS and they drifted down south to the West African sub-region, and most of them came with very, very sophisticated weapons. And most of the groups operating in the Sahel, they do not do so also in isolation. They are affiliated to the Al-Qaeda. Currently, there is a group which is so dominant in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and also initiating attacks in Togo. They are called the Jama Misra al-Islam Muslimin. And then we also have the Ansar Islam in the Sahel. And all these groups have alliances to the Al-Qaeda. They have an alliance with the ISIS. And they are trying to extend their foothold into the Sahel region. We should put on record that the West African sub-region is so gifted with a lot of natural resources. And if you go to Burkina Faso, these terrorists and armed groups are so dominant in areas with vast where what we call here in Ghana illegal mining or galamsey activities take place. These terrorists and other armed groups, militants, are so dominant in these areas because of their access to resources. And mostly that is how terrorist groups and these jihadist networks are able to fund their activities. It is on record that for years the Taliban in Afghanistan have funded their activities through opium farming and business.
Right.
They make billions of dollars annually from the growth and sale of opium or marijuana. So these are the reasons why they are making further incursions down south. And currently they are targeting coastal states because of the potential for them, all the oil transportation, the vessels, all the shipping vessels, they are all on the coast. And once they have access to the coastline, they are going to cripple the entire economy of the sub-region, and it may require very urgent.
So as an ordinary Ghanaian going about his or her business in Kumasi, in Takrady, in Accra, in Cove Town, in Ho, in Zebila, should that Ghanaian be concerned with what is happening across the border to the east?
Insecurity anywhere threatens security everywhere. With regards to happenings in the sub-region, I painted a picture that about 7-8 years ago, when Boko Haram started, they were only attacking Christians. Less than 4 years, they started even attacking Muslims, and we should all be worried because our borders are so close in the West African sub-region. These borders were basically creation of imperialism, and we live together as common people. It's very difficult to try to differentiate between a Ghanaian and a Togolese or a Ghanaian and Nigerian. And we have very porous borders. Our border communities engage in trade, and people could easily move from the Ivory Coast to Ghana, Togo to Ghana, or Burkina Faso to Ghana. And I think every Ghanaian should be worried about happenings in the sub-region. However, since 2017, countries like Ghana, Togo, the Ivory Coast, Niger, they initiated the Accra Initiative in 2017, and then in the subsequent years, Operation Kwandago also came into force, and this was supposed to be an intelligence sharing and security cooperation pact to prevent the rise of violent extremism in the sub-region. And all these are interventions by the respective countries to address the rise in militancy in the sub-region.
Finally, we know that at the governmental and the military, at the security level, things will be happening, but for the man in the street, the ordinary person, the child, the school child, what should we be doing to counter this threat?
Recently, the Ministry of National Security launched the See Something, Say Something campaign, and it's supposed to be a citizen consciousness or awareness platform for every Ghanaian to look out for potential terrorist threats or any acts that threaten our security as a people, and call the appropriate agencies. And if you think that if people are initiating any form of terrorist attack, you are not going to be affected, so you are not going to call. It doesn't work that way. When there's a state of emergency because of a single terrorist attack or it affects everybody, you can't sleep at the right time, you can't wake up at the right time, and these are all the socio-economic repercussions we are likely to suffer. The unfortunate instance of any form of attack on Ghana, and I would entreat every Ghanaian to be proactive, look out for suspicious in the country, especially those living along the border communities. Look out for foreigners who present any form of threat, those in the mosque, those in the churches. If you see that anybody, any young man or any older person is trying to radicalize the youth in your community, the best thing to do is to pick your phone and call 999, which is a toll-free number, and report these suspicious characters to appropriate institutions and authorities.
We'll leave you here. Thank you so much for the context and the information. Michael Kuju Nketia is an international relations analyst, giving us a background to what's been happening in Togo and telling us that we need to be on the alert. If you see something, say something, and the number is 999. It's a toll-free number. Nobody's going to charge you a CD or a peswa for just calling it. Your anonymity is guaranteed, and hopefully we can be on the alert to nip some of these things in the bud. You can't really argue with what he said, can you, Dr. Sai?
No, I think we can't. The best we can do is to add to it, especially the issues about the youth. In certain countries, there is some consciousness and awareness raising among the youth. This see something, say something thing must go down to the youth to the extent that anytime, any day they see something, they will know where to go and who to talk to. The national orientation and consciousness about security matters is important. If you go to countries like Rwanda, that consciousness is there. So I believe that we should inculcate it in our youth and then raise the awareness. And this is where, again, NCCE comes in handy. NCC has a role to play in raising civic awareness, and the civic awareness should not be only in the area of participatory governance, but it should also be in the area of awareness raising, so people would understand their roles as citizens. And so awareness raising is key. And also the 999, that is true, we should call the 999, but please, when they call the 999, they should also pick and give response. It's very important.
We called them here live on the show some time ago.
That's right.
And we got some responses.
Good.
So
you know, so yes. So
in spite of the prank calls,
it should be working, and people should not also make prank calls. So it is all awareness and awareness and awareness, and they should also orient our unfortunate illiterate brothers. They may not understand the implications of some of these things, so we should take our time and then explain it in the local languages and local dialects so people would understand what is happening.
Okay. Laura from Prom, comments on this?
Oh, very short.
Yes.
That, you see, we say that the devil always finds job.
For the other hands.
Very good. So governments in the sub-region must do everything to focus on the youth.
Do you think they are
Give
awake?
them
Do you
jobs.
think they are awake? Do you think they are awake and alive to the responsibility?
No, they are not,
threats?
because it doesn't affect them directly. If the youth have got jobs to do, it will be very difficult to influence them to leave their work and go to the bush and learn this art in order to come and disturb people. They are also human beings. And then also, I believe there should be a stronger integration in the sub-region, exchange of notes and ideas about what is happening, and then alertness everywhere. But the greatest of all is the fact that when the youth do not have any work to do, anyone can easily influence them.
The devil finds work for idle hands. That's the message from my guests here. Let's take a see something, say something message from one of our panelists. In fact, he's one of our Thursday panelists, and this is his message to all of us concerning the security issues in Ghana.
Glory to God. My name is the Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Please don't wait until something happens before you get to say something. Our neighboring countries have been invaded by terrorists, and we believe they are closer to us like never before. Please be vigilant and call 999 if you suspect anything in your area that does not make sense. And that is the only way we can safeguard Ghana. It is a collective responsibility. Say something when you see something and be bold.
Say something if you see something.
For me, Dean Nanama McBrown. The Uba Yatuni Dean, see something, say something. A tresse, so who be beer, who susu say, a best say Yasum Gia, Yakukudro, Neka, and nothing yes, see something, say something. If we say, if I na
say something if you see something, my friend.
Yep, Nanama McBrown and Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete with those messages here. Mr. Report, you want to say something?
Yes, with regards to the VIP buses and then the STC buses, I believe that the time has come that the state should reintroduce the searches entering the bus should be given a search. And then also, the time has come for very big churches. There is one church on the Kasua Kandeshi Road. Is it Resurrection Power New Generation?
The Living Bread.
Yes,
Living
every
Bread.
Sunday you see hundreds of people being loaded to that place.
If not thousands.
Thousands. In fact, what message is the person going to give? What deliverance, what prophecy is it that the church cannot have an idea of breaking down into pieces so that it becomes less difficult for anybody to target and succeed with them? So many people, children everywhere, and when one such person gets there and decides to cause a destruction, it will be a catastrophe. So I believe that national security should focus its attention there, either to always ensure there is protection for them, or to ensure that are broken down into various branches depending on where the members are living.
So that people don't gather in one place in their thousands.
It's dangerous now. It's very dangerous. And so if the members are hearing me, this is the time they should inform the church council that SDA, Pentecost, Methodist, they are broken down into pieces everywhere. Why is it that we alone, thousands of us here at one place, anything can happen to them? I'm not praying that it should happen. But it can be a target.
They have branches, I must say, except that the number that congregates at a place. I'm also aware that that's why I was telling you that the nexus between security and intelligence must be up there, because I'm also aware that intelligence officers are on the ground.
Okay, plainclothes people.
Plainclothes people are on the ground. Except that I'm not aware of the relationship between those on the ground and the leadership of these churches.
Okay.
So that is the area we need to strengthen. Reducing the numbers. And then also, COVID has brought in something new. Use the virtual platform to do your churches. And then people can pay their offering
by Momo.
By Momo. So we should encourage that as well, so that as much as possible, we reduce a lot of people congregating at one place to do physical worship. It's an important area that we need to consider.
It's a good point. And I like the point about the intelligence officers amongst them. This one is for the intelligence officers who like to announce their presence. It's just a no-no, man. You're in a bank and the guy wants to get premium service and he says, "Oh, I'm national security."
No, it's unethical.
Is it wrong?
No, it's very bad.
Yeah. But they do it. They want to flex on you.
By their SOPs, you are not even supposed to be known or seen. You are an undercover investigator who gets the information. You don't even act on the information. You are expected to pass it on. The next person is the security. Okay. So security is the physical aspect, and then the intelligence is the one on the ground. So you are not supposed to see. So if a security move without intelligence, it will fail, because you move on the basis of intelligence. So anybody who comes and parade himself that I'm from national security, that person is not.
You have defeated the purpose.
You have defeated the purpose because by your modus operandi, you are not supposed to be known.
Exactly. Yeah. And just a last point on the VIP buses. With the body searches, I think that is great. I think they must even have cameras in the bus terminals, security cameras. And on aeroplanes in certain countries, I know in the US they always have a sky marshal, somebody who is on the plane who is armed and can disarm somebody who is misbehaving. He may not be in uniform, but I think for the buses, on certain routes, we probably need to have some marshals on the buses.
We do have them, except that they are security men. Okay. They have guns.
Yes.
We have
hopefully not in uniform, so that you don't know who they are.
In fact, the ones I have uniform, unfortunately, if we have some intelligence officers who are not in uniform, I may not know. But you see, once you put them in uniform, you give the criminal an opportunity to know who to attack first.
You take him out first.
They take him out first. I'm sure all these things should go into a comprehensive security strategies that will protect travelers using other means of transport. We can start with the STCs and the rest, and I think we will make some inroads.
Awesome. You're watching GTV Breakfast. We would love to hear what's on your mind. What do you want to talk about? What's on your heart today? And the issues we've discussed, issues of national security, really paramount. Let us know. 055-556-1034. Issues of money are paramount. The finance minister is presenting the media budget tomorrow, the 13th of July. And I am seeing a quote attributed to Mr. Alan Chimating, Minister for Trade. IMF bailout will help confidence in the economy. And what economy, people are also making comparisons and parallels with what's happening in Sri Lanka. And the big boss at Imani Ghana says events in Sri Lanka should make any leader overseeing a failed economy quake. Of course, Mr. Frimpong, you have seen those pictures of people storming the presidential palace in Sri Lanka,
yes,
people jumping into the presidential pool, refusing to leave until the man leaves office. And he has a certain kind of government where his brothers, he has like 5 or 6 brothers who are all in government. So they all have the same name and they are all related, and they are all coming under fire from the government, from the people. Should we be looking at Sri Lanka and saying, okay, hey, what's going on there? Let's be careful. But before that, I want to just dive into Bawalishi, because our man, acting on a tip-off from one of our viewers, is at the site of a demolition, and he shall let us know what's going on. Alan, hi, good morning, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Kath. Thank you very much for coming to us at Bawalishi. Indeed, the tip-off we had is absolutely correct and 100% true. I'm currently under the high-tension cables, Gridco's pylons, the 13,000 capacity carrier for Gridco. And this seemed to be a bare land under which people have their shops, their stores, and I can also see what looks like a community shower. I can also see what looks like a community shower for people who trade out here. This site is illegal. It doesn't belong to the people who work or trade here. It does belong to Gridco, and I understand this land also comes under the Legon stool land. So the owners of the land take advantage of these people's presence, and they come and collect some kind of land pole or toll from them and allow them to trade here. My information upon arrival here is that every now and then, Gridco will come and serve them notice to relocate in order to allow them to carry out whatever exercise they would like to carry out as far as power distribution is concerned. This has gone on for time, and several notices has been served. I spoke to a member of the district assembly, the Ayawaso West Wogon district assembly, who said they have served notice severally, and indeed some of the people themselves have confirmed that they have received several notices to move from here, or else their property, being shops or kiosks, will be demolished. These notices have come and gone, and in not more than 2 weeks ago, they had the landowners come in and collect money from them. And then a notice was placed around here to say, keep off land for blah, 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 in which case nobody can be evicted from this land. But they were here this dawn when the district assembly came in with this truck you see in full force and in full action, started breaking down whatever structures they have here. Boskaf, I have seen women proper wailing over what is happening, and men also very agitated, and so the police are also on hand to assure some kind of order and sanity. My understanding is that the traders who trade here have a union, and the union chairman, in an attempt to stop them, has been sent to the East Legon police station. I can also see lots and lots and lots of young men gathering together. In fact, some even tried to stop us from filming, but we have to insist they can't stop us. We have as much right as they have to be here. And if the district assembly doesn't want us here, they would ask us to move on. I'm going to go and speak to an executive member of the union who work here or who trade here to pick what his thoughts or his views are as far as this exercise is concerned. And I would see what he has to say and why they ignored whatever notices they've been served until they have come to this day when this exercise has come to them in what seemed to be like an unprepared situation. Good morning, boss.
Good morning, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Please give me your
Mr. Emmanuel Esiama.
Mr. Emmanuel, I understand you're a member of the executive union, or you're an executive member of the union for traders who work here.
Legon Artisans Association.
East Legon Artisans Association is the name of the union.
Yes.
What is your being here? What is the legal basis of your being here? Do you have tenancy?
Anyway, we don't have any permits here, but we are working under high tension. So all that we know over here is it's government land. Day in, day out, they've been coming to warn us we should be living here, we should be parked from here. But it's not the Ayawaso district or whether somebody is behind it or it's from government. So whenever they come around, they just come and just warn us that we should reposition ourselves. But they didn't come here exactly to strike us. And this is about 3 or 4 times over we are seeing this one here. So recently they came around to move from here, and we decided, no, if you are moving from here, look for a place for us, because we are 120 masters over here with number of match apprentices. So we are all looking forward, helping children to learn up, to come up with something. Well, now everybody knows that the system is sad, but we are also trying to help the young ones coming up. But this is just immediate operation that they have been doing. I was in the house, they called me and I ran to here. And everything over here is being scattered under high tension. Also, some few people, this thing. We went to District Assembly. We went to University of Ghana, Legon. This is their land. So we want the.
So the land belongs to the University of Ghana.
University of Legon land. So we are with the estate development, estate managers, dealing with them, talking to them. They are advising us. So they asked us to live here. We shouldn't move because here is their land, unless they give us permit to live here. So they came and arranged us with the list.
This is a serious statement to make on the because if you're saying the university allowed you to stay, this is estate management of the university allowed you to stay.
Come with a proper agreement. They come and the names of the apprentices. So we have the agreement with them as I'm speaking.
Do you have a copy of this arrangement?
I have a copy.
Are you able to make it available to us?
It's not here because they called me, so I just arrived from the house. I didn't bring anything.
But if we need it at a later time, can you make that?
Forward it to you. I have it. I can forward it to you later. I can snap it on the phone and then just forward it to you.
I'll share my number with you so you share that document with us. We also understand you get to pay some toll. There's some kind of land collection that happens every now and then by the assembly. Do you get receipts for these monies you pay?
They haven't tell us anything like that. They haven't spoke to anything like that to us. There's no any agreement of in terms of paying or whatever. They haven't come anything like that. But we started making an arrangement with the Legon because the land belongs to them. So we went to the township, the chiefs, and they give us advice that no, the park is what they want to do, the Astrotech. But if the aspect, Astrotech is not yet in, why do you start people who are feeding their family? It's the place we are feeding our family, and look at the system now. Everybody is suffering for his daily bread.
But do you also not agree with them that working under the high tension is rather a very dangerous thing to do?
Fine, that's nice. It's dangerous for our own safety. It's nice, it's dangerous. But where are we going? We are just managing here, so we put the instructions in order that nobody should work under the high tension. But what they are doing now is, what are they coming to use the place for? It's the same people, the same Ghanaians who are also coming to work over here. The same people, the same Ghanaians. So if you are sacking us from here, then why are you bringing different people from here?
Have you been told who is going to be taking over when you are gone?
We know some people are looking for here to car operators and car dealers, but we are telling them that they should be careful. We are telling them they should be careful.
This is a serious allegation you are making. This is a rather very serious allegation.
We went to the State Assembly, the Chief Executive, Ma Sandra, we went there, Ma Lydia, MP for Ayawaso Wagon. She's aware of that. We cried to her that you should come and come and save us from certain things. But we are not seeing anything here. So what they are doing, if they are sacking us from here, number of masters, number of people around there, they are sacking us from here.
If you calm down a bit, if you calm down a bit for me, do you not think that these MCE, MP whom you've cried to and nothing has come of it, perhaps will be thinking it is not right, and so they would not listen to you?
Yes, what we know is that they came and have meeting with us in terms of election. They came and have meeting with us. They assure us that we will live here. So when the issue started, we went to their office and we went there to speak our problem, what we are going through over here to them. They didn't mind us. The District Assembly Chief Executive said she walked us from his office. Is that how we should? we have a meeting over here with her. She came and told us that the place is for us. So we will be living here. She will do a fence for us to come and work over here. Now there's an issue. We come to you. She said we should bring people right there. If somebody want to sell a car, somebody want to do something, we should bring the people for them there so that they can even take money or whatever they want from the person.
That's another indictment on the chief executive. They won't be here to speak to this.
They walked me out from the office because I was challenging them. But we don't live the world and behave like that. We don't live well. We are all Ghanaians. I'm not a citizen. I'm not. People from outside, they are benefiting from it. Why might we as Ghanaians, we are suffering like this? In terms of it, I'm a full MPP member. People over here, NDC member, we are all Ghanaians. It doesn't matter. So is it how they are doing to our own country? Is it what we are doing? They should hold on.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will move out to speak to see if I can speak to somebody. To you, please calm yourself down and find a good team to dialogue with the landowners as well as this assembly and see whether you can come to some arrangement and a different place found for you. And so I've just been joined by another man. Please let me quickly pick his thought and then we will see what we can do. Maza, morning.
Morning, good morning.
Me pacho te saying.
Nyame adumo.
Me pacho uye adwuma habi.
Me pacho me brothers ngwana wa ha. Me so ha na me bar shop any ade.
Enti eda adwuma na ya na wa ha.
Okay, me de me ton ade nkakra. Ewa.
Nenti dan bubuo yi ni ma ya course we anye bia omo anyima sutre bia ansa na ya baso.
Oh, or they say past 3 months ni. Ya da no pa ya ba ya no no mo ye sen go mo the force mo ba be. Endi fitafo ni nyina esole so omo mpre e na ye no omo twen ya no omo koye ba ye nim so be 3 months ni a obi ama ye de eja hanom ye tena hanye ne endi ye nim say ye adwuma na ye na
masa ma ye nyina ye wa na kwa we mi say na dwene nye ahwe a ode abegu yen so me da say
in the past 3 months ni omo ba ha so omo ba betu ye endi omo ba no e na ye omo no omo ye no omo struggle ya no omo san koye se mo pam ye hin ye nkonko didi endi ye sa no omo san koye endi anadwo we de obi anim se omo san ba ha no ma no pa we obi an ne ho no ma wonim se omo
masa se asema wo kan uni nyina so obi a
me wonyina so omo de start wo da ho da omo de start wo da madam any people are going to say start wo da ho
one dey start
madam
muni
so one office ho otomo fitanfo furo no de ka sakase begu ho
ya magdan na ya saade no wo start wo da ho ya magdan na ya magdan ono wo ya saade we nyina ase ono wo start yo na watu ngrofo sa wo hwe dan ho no ma ha no omo ba no ye ho doso ndi no omo sure no omo kwa ndi obi anim se omo ba na adwo ye omo asan ba ye sa no sisi a kwan ye ba fa so a ye bedidi de age se nyame nko a
enti aba ne sa no edan na mo na mutuo
se ye ni na mo bi ebetuo ye ni pan mu bia na de ba kwa mia ne se se ba to ba ai MP4 timi nante ba ha bet ye keke asem kire mu a omo mfa ho MC no so eta kire bi MC no eta kire bi
These let me quickly send a word of disclaimer. If you are watching us, we're coming to you live from the Baalishi high tension, where a lot of artisans have their shops and stores under the high tension. A number of accusations have been leveled against the MCE, the MP, and some individuals in society. Unfortunately, GBC cannot verify that, and therefore we make no claim whatsoever. It is the views of those who are affected, and these views are what they hold, and do not represent the views of GBC in any way, shape, or form. As I speak to them, you realize the agitations are getting even louder and louder. In much the same way, so also is the demolition exercise ongoing. I'll spin around and speak to one other person, and perhaps we would call it a day out here just before I go. Let me speak to this woman. Manya, morning. O fine nyechwoni ye bi.
Wa.
O fine me nyechwoni ye bi.
Wo omo komi wo ni bibi ye bi.
O fine ale no eje aka nya aka baba fe no kuta moneke.
Amaka wo ye pe mi ye bi ene. E won say bo any month bia wo chu sika aka ya alego. Isene no kwa.
Nyechwoni sika na aka.
Wo chu sika.
Ni sika aka te aka receipt ba.
No, ni insana aka te aka receipt e ko me ba. She insana ni wo kete. Ameka wo me kanyo ogbo ameka wo jin ba ha wo. Ni to aka wo pio. Insana no kwa to 1 week ne. Wo me ni wo yo gba efe wo fe wo 2 million. Aga gba e bi na ata wo 2 million na kete. E wo gbe na pone te chukwa ga mi won fra ta ga chukwa nke 5 million abagbene. Koni ame ha mi eko koni ma woni eje me. E wo sika nke ba ni ba magade be ni ba na no.
E wo ne bale ne ke mi ni jino nya ba he nyeshika alo be eshan.
Ka me ka ba wo mo we no ji se ka me ka ba wo ba he. Se jaro ko na me ka ba wo. Amba ke ko
Inyemi yo how much me bank if you aka no ya no na bu e yo twi wo ade nche. Mi ni jino na otwu ya bi e.
Financial madam ni ho gari ni ho ni bi ko ke gbe ye.
Ale no ye jin ani abo atwa anya dafinko awo nya tue no po aka no kotamoneke.
Dabi o fa ne dabi mi enu go no go.
Ni mokohwe na shimpo ni ba aka nya aka no na baba fi.
O fa ne dabi.
Ne bale neke ni agbene hu nyewo to ni aka receipt alo da se eliku ba mi ni jino nya ba fi.
O fa ne me mo le no ma wie kura don e ja ke o he olo nda ni o ge chuoni wo ni bale neke o le bi ni o ba fi.
Nye he alone nya ka chuoni.
O fa ne o he olo
ni be mi ni nya he alone ani nya ke mani ha nya lo na ya awie ni amemme fiu ame ha nya kanya bon no chumo dan nya wo alo be ni bale ne kan be san nya nyomo
bia ne obe ko eja ke ni mi wie bia ne ye ni bi eje ni san ma ho dan de bale ne kan wo bia ne ale no ma afi mfe no le no ma afi le no ma afi wo makpa government fai ake komi ha ojo komi ha on qualify komi ha ja go be he ko ni obaya komi ha.
Thank you very much. All right, and so Boskaf, basically those who spoke to me both in the Ga and in the Chi dialect seem to be speaking to one common thing. They're not just ordinarily resident here. I am using these words very carefully. They are not just ordinarily resident here. There seem to be some kind of informal arrangements are made for their being here. And so the first lady who spoke to me, who sells fried rice under the high tension, explained that they all contributed 200 Ghana cedis. She mentioned that in the old denomination or the old currency, which is 2 million cedis each. And for herself in particular, she was asked to pay 500 cedis. And after which a notice or some kind of arrangement will be sent to her to secure her place where she does her business. Unfortunately, that didn't come to light. I asked her whether or not these payments come with some receipts, and she said some previous payments have been received, or they've received some kind of receipts for those previous payments. But the most recent one they did came with no receipts, and it is this same recent one which came with a follow-up to say pay 5 million instead of 2 million and for where you are. As I speak to you, the demolition exercise is still ongoing, and some of the men who work here are also following closely behind the bulldozer and trying to salvage whatever they can. This man is so impatient. There is electricity connection there, and there is also many burst pipes. These men who are also salvaging whatever could easily get electrocuted, because I see there's power in the electricity as it hangs on. If it is at all possible, can this at this point be slowed down, not to stop but to slow down thank you very much. I've just been told that in view of the exercise, the electricity has been disconnected, and so then that moving in there is safe. They can go on, but then the man driving are impatient. And so if he can't see them, chances of him lumping something on them is really very high. It would be great if these young men could be a bit patient and wait till this whole exercise is over, and then they can salvage whatever. What they are doing seemed to me to be an attempt to salvage scrap metals and the rest of them, because these plywoods are, useless. They can't be used for anything at this point. This is the situation so far out here at the Bawaleshi High Tension, where the Ayawaso West Wogon District Assembly is carrying out a demolition exercise.
Darrell Alantego,
coming back to you in the studio, Boskaf.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep an eye at the back of your head open for that caterpillar driver, man, because he seems to be just, he has a mission of his own. Be safe, all right? So that's some demolition going on there. We'll give you that in subsequent news bulletins right here on GTV and GBC News. You are watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. You just heard Darrell Alantego, our man on the ground, giving us a report on the demolition exercise. In studio, I have Dr. Eric Odro Osai. He's the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. And seated next to him is Mr. Yao Anochi Frimpong, a lawyer and a historian. And we'll be looking at the headlines in the news. We will be getting to your messages, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about Sri Lanka and why we should be keeping an eye on that as far as our economic situation is concerned. Here comes Thelma, who is about to read your messages on 055-556-1034. Thelma.
Yes, Kaf, thank you for joining us. Morning, Doc, and Mr. People. Here are your thoughts and not the thoughts of GBC. First message says, on our security and insecurity and security awareness, let the local now.
I need to just
don't have timeline
dive over, and then we'll come back to you, Thelma. All right. So, Mr. Frimpong, we were talking about Franklin Kujo says, hey, and he is the founder of Imani Africa. Says, if you are in charge of an economy failing, you need to be keeping a close eye on what's happening in Sri Lanka, because it looks like they say coming events cast their shadows. Is that scaremongering, or really we should be looking at what's happening in Sri Lanka, where the economy has totally collapsed and they just can't buy anything, really?
Well, I believe it's real, because everybody in this country knows that this economy has collapsed. In fact, we don't have an economy. And what do we have? We only have politics, not an economy. We have a political system where we can point at a president, we point to the legislature, the judiciary. When it comes to the economy, that makes, as Pakwesi Ndum always say, the sikasha wukotokum. That one, we don't have it. We don't have it.
Maybe we have the money, but it's not enough.
If you have money and it is not enough for you to buy food, to buy something to wear, and even where to put your head, then it means that you do not have money. We are not talking about having money to be able to buy a car and be able to buy 100 suits. No, we are talking about very basic necessities, and they are not existent in the country. And we are saying that there is this Ghanaian proverb that when you come across...
Can I just break in? Because we need to go back to Bawaleshi, because there seems to be a developed story with Alan right now. And he really wants us to capture that going on right now. So can we just dive back to Bawaleshi with Alan? I just got a message from him. Apparently there's a fight with the police at Bawaleshi right now. And Alan just sent us a message on that. So there seems to be some kind of some altercation going on at that scene of the demolition, and as soon as we get the pictures of that altercation, we shall get back to you pretty shortly. This is GTV Breakfast. Yeah, you were talking about the economy.
Yes, and I was saying that when you see your neighbor's beard on fire, you quickly get near water, because anything can happen to you too. You know, when the government sees that there is such a thing taking place in Sri Lanka, and not long ago, a similar thing occurred in Burkina Faso. And last week, the British Prime Minister was put out of office, all because of something we all know. First of all, our president, from Nkrumah to Nana Akufo-Addo, has been the only one that has been sent as making members of his close family part of the government, and has never listened to anybody.
President Kufuor had his brother as defense minister.
Yes, a very decent brother, and he alone manning Ministry of Defense, and we all know the edifice he left there as a legacy for himself and to everybody. It is different from when people mention certain names close to Akufo-Addo. Very different, and nobody denies that. Then number two, this is the president that has been singled out, that in the midst of the wars that people are going through, he hires private jets, very luxurious ones, and then enjoy himself, and has not come out to deny.
Be flying in the air,
yes,
and then we'll go to Alan and we'll come back. So you hold your thought there, all right? Mr. Pripov. Alan, hi, talk to us. What's going on? I heard there's some fight, Beshi for some place.
If you're with us, I am currently getting swamped. I'm currently getting swamped, and obviously these are young men who are agitated. Not too long ago, they had a scuffle with the police. A few of them have been taken away. These ones left here. Please don't take the microphone away from me. Please, calm yourself down.
Quite angry with what's going on at the demolition at the high tension. Somebody, I think, grabbed Alan's microphone. So
if you see my camera move, it is because of what is currently ongoing. I am very, calm yourself down. If you calm down, if you calm yourself down, I'll speak to you. If you calm yourself down, I'll speak to you. No. Yeah.
Alan, make you talk pidgin with them. May they hear you well. He can't be speaking Queen's English when he is speaking pidgin, man.
Calm yourself down. You see, calm yourself down. Calm yourself down. And so I am moving away from the camera to protect the camera. These young men seem very agitated. Right now, Afe munya botre na munene nkasa. Munya botre na munene nkasa. Munya botre. Masa si abotre. You want to talk, and if you are like this, how am I able to speak to you?
We are ready to die for our country. We are ready to die.
And this is gidi am I any wakasa. Masa me pacho.
All right, so while Alan is trying to just calm things down there, of course, tensions will be quite high. The demolition is not something you expect on a Tuesday morning like this, right after a holiday. But the authorities have moved in to clear some structures at the Bawaleshi high tension area in the Ayawaso West Wogon area in the Greater Accra region. And Alan is trying to calm down some very agitated young men who will tell us exactly why they are so flustered. Alan, please take it away. Let's hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Kaf. This man is a unit committee member. He's giving us some kind of background to what engagement has ensued before this day. And so I'm going to go back to him and get him to continue from where he where you joined us. Please, could you start for us where you started from? Okay. Unit committee member.
Yeah, I'm a unit committee member in the electoral year, Okpongwe electoral area. My name is Theophilus. This place, about last year, they came around with the MCE to destroy the place and claim the place. And the excuse they give that they want to build Astrotech over here. And we said this is the only park, the Astrotech. We know that they said McDan who want to build the Astrotech. But we know that if they build, they always protect it and we don't get access to the place. And this is a community park. If there's a funeral, football and everything, so they can't take a community park and build that without this. So let's sit down. Then they claim, you can see from day one, they started claiming all the roadside, giving to the car dealers to be selling cars over here. And my boss, you know, in this country, artisans are something the government said that they are proud of them. Now you want to, you now come that they throw at the Astrotech, you want to sack all the artisans, over 5,000 artisans over here. You want to So since last year we disagree. Then Legon came in also that this place belonged to them. So the engagement went on, they went off. Just we wake up this midnight, they came midnight with land guards, policemen, and in the midnight, before we wake up, they started putting the people away. They started destroying the trees. And now they claim that it's a Greco. But my boy, if you look at our left side here, these places are not part of the high tension. Yes. But look, they are destroying the place into this one. They said they are taking all these places out. If this you are claiming now is not the assembly that is doing the thing, so it's a Greco. Places that like this place who are not part of the high tension, you are destroying them in the name of just to take the food from the artisan their mouth.
Right. You see, I earlier spoke to one of your union members, and I asked whether he doesn't appreciate the danger you put yourself into when you trade under the high tension. By law, you are supposed to be at least 50 meters away from the high tension. It appears you're just next to the high tension. Don't you think this is also the reason why they're moving you on?
Sir, I disagree, because the reason why I disagree...
Well, you may disagree, but your safety is at stake.
We know, but the people are not living here, but they came and work and they go. They are working here over 40-something years. That they are working here, they work and they go. This is their working place, because there's no any place they work. And even that's what they are doing, when they destroy, you can see back on Okonglo, they destroy the people and they say that it's a Greco, and they'll give it to car dealers. And the car dealers also will come and stay there and work at the same time. So when they are sacking the people, they give it back to their people to sell a car.
Boss, you are a unit committee member. Yes. To what extent have you taken this particular view where your artisans are moved on and car dealers are brought in? Have you made any applications or farmers' applications on this?
Yes, we have done so many applications. We have engaged the district assembly several times at a meeting. The last meeting we went, me, myself, I put it before them and I told them that what you are doing is wrong. Even if it is money, you are giving it to car dealers, then let's be taxing. The assembly wants money, and we have over 5,000 people here. Let's be taxing the people and give them every month, and the assembly generate money more than the car dealers. But let me tell you in authority, if the reason
could you please tell me this? Not too long ago, your young men engaged the police in some kind of scuffle. What broke that up, and why did the police take the man away?
No, that right now the man have not. Somebody, you see, when they are destroying the thing, they are picking the people, their property, their car things, and you see that somebody who is towing the car, in the towing car, and he went to hold the man. That, why are you doing that? Then one of the land guard get another. Why is he stopping the? He said he take the car spare parts. That is what happened.
So it wasn't a fight with the police. It was a fight between a trader. All right, okay. All right, thanks for clearing the air.
Thank you so much, Alan, for those updates from the Bawalisha area, Bonglo area, with this demolitions ongoing, and with the unit committee member making his views heard, and of course, Alan also asking the right questions. I mean, what have you done to make sure that these things didn't get to this level? Obviously, they've got to the level where after a long holiday, you wake up and then your kiosk is down. Not good. But we'll see what happens in coming days. Let's take our messages now from Thelma, 055-556-1034. She's not responsible for these messages.
No.
You are. Please go ahead.
So Daniel here was trying to answer a question we raised about the church on the Kaswa Road, and he's saying that as for that resurrection church, the policy is that on Sunday all branches in Accra are closed and they all congregate at that Kaswa church. Not to be left out of the demolition conversation, he said that it's an illustration that our institutions have failed to coordinate their policy actions. Legon, ECG, Gridco, Assembly, etc. all have been negligent, and that's according to Daniel here. Nelson says, good morning, Kafu. In some parts of Ghana, especially Yaotano and Brekumanso, when someone is doing a wedding or funeral, the way some of the people use their cars and motorcycles are very serious. The police must help us so that this will stop in this country. Afani says, we must all come together and build the nation with unity, because together we stand, divided we fall, from Afani. I guess it has to do with the See Something, Say Something campaign. When will you realize the system is mentally corrupting Ghanaians are becoming, was the psychoactive? Are we digging a future grave, knowing the psychosis people are going through day by day? I don't really know what those photos are, so I want the producers to just clear it before we put that on air. Good morning, Cafe and crew. Ghanaians must be wise. They shouldn't allow themselves to be used by politicians. When notices are served, they should try and make arrangements to find another place. Illiteracy and ignorance are killing us, and they are being taken advantage of. Now that the demolition is ongoing, where are the people who gave them the permission? We need to be wary of the politicians. Ajwa Stallone is saying that. Winner says, if our experts, journalists and educated will speak frankly to power like the lawyer, we would not be in this economic mess. Dr. Osai, as finance person, will admit to seeing this mess long ago and agree that we are even digging deeper. And that's according to Winner. Monica is joining us. CAF, it pains me that we are not appreciating what God has done for Ghana. Ghana cannot be like Sri Lanka. We are full. We have our lights on. Workers are being paid. So many things are going on. Yes, we might have challenges which we would overcome. Mr. Frimpong, being a CPP member, should not tell us that we have no economy. Please don't preach doom for the country. I don't remember Mr. Frimpong saying he's a CPP member, but those are your thoughts, and he's responded that he isn't. Akwesi Kisi from Gomuankran said, when a coach, Nanado, refuses to make a change in a losing team, it means the following. There is no better finance minister player on the bench. The NPP men on the bench are injury prone. The coach himself is technically bankrupt. We need change. We need change to change this West team, bring JDM to solve our problems. And that's according to Kisi Brown. Jack Pata says, I like GTV Breakfast Show because the program is very unpredictable and a lot of dynamics. Keep it up, crew members.
I like that. Unpredictable.
CAF supports this comment.
I like it.
100 bags of peace. I know my dear sister will not read this because it's lengthy. Yes, you know me. Thank you. You're watching us. Keep it short and then I will get to it as quickly as I can. Good morning, bro. CAF and the BFS and your honorable panelists, thank you for the enthusiastic and constructive views towards the development of our country. Concerning our security issues, I suggest we use all medium of communication and sensitization so that even the very lay person in the country will be conscious and identify any suspicious activities around them. So we would like to keep it short. Silas says, if we continue to support any illegal settlement because those living there complain that that's where they end their living, NADMO will always have work to do. The law must work. What is wrong is wrong. Silas is reaching us from Mankesim. Mahmoud Dibar joins. Good morning, GTV. Even if they have completely failed, I don't know why African leaders don't resign their positions to save their faces. Hope they will take a cue from Boris Johnson and his cabinet minister's resignation. Okay, Atar Noyang joins. Hashtag GTV Breakfast. We love that. Keep the good going. Becoming addicted, yes, welcome to the show. Let's build Ghana together, whether IMF or not. We need to change our attitudes for a better Ghana. Welcome. Where have you been all this while? Good morning. I like GTV Breakfast Show. Keep it up. We like you watching us too. Keep watching. And more messages coming in. Trisha says, hi. Thelma, hi. Kudos to your astute panel. I'm beginning to warm up to the lawyer. He speaks the truth, but his presentation is a bit too harsh for my liking. Egofo, I will resoundingly say has disappointed a lot of us. His downfall is taking the unsound advice from his family and friends, especially the finance minister. He should stop cutting swords and fulfill his promises. Trisha hitting hard with her comment. Hey, economy is hard. Government keep provoking people instead of coming down for the people to, is that pity? Very soon we shall occupy the government house until they all resign. All right. Peace, peace, peace is what we all call for here. All these altercations at Bawaleshi is the doing of our politicians. They make normal things normal. So when they want it to be normal, these things happen. They are there because of our politicians and they know they are not supposed to be there. Kwesi is reaching us from Rioso. So these are the messages, so many more on the screen, and we do appreciate it. Unfortunately, that's all time will allow us. So I'll hand it over back to you, CAF, and the two lawyers.
Thank you very much. And we'll dive off to go speak with Jay. Jay has a report. Jay Gabra, our man on the ground, has a report for us on some dangerous U-turns. Yeah, this is how unpredictable the show can be. You go from Togo to Bawaleshi to unpredictable U-turns. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. We don't play here, man. Yeah, so Jay will be getting through to us pretty shortly with a quick report on a quick report. Yeah, but you were just making your point about Sri Lanka before. Oh, Jay is ready. Okay. Jay is ready. Jay, go ahead. Come in. If you're ready, come in. Where are
Thank
you?
you so much, Kafui. Thank you so much for the intro. I don't know what else to say to that. So we are the still small bus stop. We're here to highlight the plight of pedestrians who are crossing this place. They face a number of challenges owing to some reasons. This Westhill small bus stop, when the mall was constructed, the builders, the constructors thought it wise to move the bus stop. They created a slip lane so that bus stops will stop at that side. Then pedestrians can use the underbridge and cross their way to the mall. Unfortunately, for those who are not heading to the mall and heading towards Red Top, going towards Botiano, they prefer to stop here and then they make their way to their destination. So what happens is when they arrive here, the weeds, as you can see, it's growing haphazardly. It hasn't been weeded for a while, and you know that because of the rainy season, it's obstructing the view of pedestrians from seeing the cars which are coming all the way from Kaswa, who are coming from to this side. So, and the rate of speed at which they are coming with, if you are not careful, it's a very, very dangerous situation. So you find that for some pedestrians, they get here and they get stuck for a while. They want to cross the road, they might even take a step and they realize that no, there's a vehicle coming, so they have to step back. And of course, you see there are some billboards also within the weeds. So if you are crossing to the other side, it's like the view is obstructed not only by the weeds but also by the billboards, and then the road is such that it curves into this side. So if the drivers are turning and getting to this place, they usually don't know that there are pedestrians who are crossing here, and there's no warning in terms of perhaps a zebra crossing or a sign ahead that says, oh, pedestrians crossing here, so slow down for them to pass. So there's nothing of the sort. So the drivers are just coming. You find that the pedestrians get stuck for a while. And I just want to point out something here before I wrap up. There's a stick over here right now. This stick. And what it's supposed to serve as a warning for pedestrians who are crossing the road, because right next to me is an open storm drain. And I believe it's very dangerous. So for instance, if you are crossing the road and you decide to step back, you come and fall into this. Yes. And it's quite deep, and we don't know why it's uncovered up to now. So if you're not careful and you're walking within the weeds, or you just want to avoid the vehicles, you find yourself within this open storm drain right here, hurting yourself massively. I have one gentleman here who says he's a unit committee member who has been trying to help people. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, boss.
Pacho
Mr. David in Kansa.
Pacho, storm drain, assembly nesi entinom biesa.
Sa minim company kwa ebabe yes ade we a womoja amna no de ato ho. For and ababe to amna nim. Ma report ama some radio station bi wo ka so a omo ba be hwe ye omo anka abibia amfa ho. Company kwa ebabe yes ade no a omo ja amna ne to ho. Minim company ko. Ma report sa report ama SCC police so bi antu anamo bia emfa ho ntia yade a ehadwe because I have school for nkwala etwam eco school
school ben no
Roman school Peter and Paul Saint Peter and Paul nkwala ni twam
twam wo
haya eco school ntia you very dangerous and amanfo so ba mekom ha ba beto ade ebi su komo no mu kokoto ade eduru occasion a enanu say ye holiday Muslim yise enkwala bebre enenam ha obi betimi ato amra ni mu a amra no obi tom ne se ya najo a obewu yehu nti very dangerous nti mesra mo amra menemo kase muntu anamo emfa ho na company ko a omo ba be ye sa ade no yehu company no so omo meye bibia na omo mesi because very dangerous.
Thank you so much. So he's appealing to the assembly and whichever company opened this crater, should I say, so that they come and fix this as soon as possible. It's very close to the roadside, and if you're not careful, you may fall in as well. So he's saying about 4 people have already fallen in already, and it's even covered by the weeds. So a lot going on here at the Westhill Mall bus stop, and that's where we are doing our report from Cafe. So it's quite close to a Red Top. If for those who are not going to the mall, they are going to Red Top, and that's where they are going. The Peter and Paul School is also located. Yes. So from the Westhill Small bus stop, this is what we have for you, Cafe.
Thank you so much, Jay. And that is quite a serious situation. And I just pray that the unit committee member can make the report to the assembly so that they can cover up that hole. I've learned a new word. I never knew that Amina was like a hole, like a big hole, right? Amina. I only knew Tokro, and I hear Tokro is like a small hole, and then Amina is a big hole. All hole be hole. All right, and the holes have to be covered. Yeah. That bottom line. Now, before we cover up this show, last comments. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Frimpong. What were your closing comments on? You were developing a point. If you could just make for us quickly.
Yeah, quickly. I'm saying that, and then everybody is saying for all these years, the president has not reshuffled the ministers and DCEs. Time was when you were DCE, every year you were expecting to receive a letter of reappointment from the president, and you did not. If you did not get it at a certain time, you had been booted out of office. Now they are so entrenched that when you go to places like Western region, DCEs are being accused of engaging in galamsey. Whether it is true or false, it is because they are entrenched and nobody will remove them. I wish that the president will be sensitive to what people are saying.
Thank you so much. DCEs that are entrenched and going into galamsey, those are things that we need to follow up on seriously. Dr. Osai, final point.
Yes, I think gone are the days when DCEs will receive letters on an annual basis. Currently, what is happening is that they have a dashboard, and the regional ministers are expected to supervise the activities. So what it means is that if they are not being reshuffled, it means regional ministers are not monitoring the activities well. But people must understand that in a decentralized local government system, like the unit committees, they are expected to make sure that these things are reported to the assembly and the action is taken on it. So we should get the structures working. It is not enough to complain on GTV breakfast show, but take action so the assemblies can also make sure that they resolve all the issues.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eric Odro Osai is a governance expert. He's a lawyer and he's the Director General of the Internal Audit Agency. So Anacho Frimpong is a lawyer and a historian. Tuesday morning panelist. In case you're wondering, and we are done, just quick headlines. Daily Graphic, budget review tomorrow. Direct IMF inflows into agri sector. Players urge the government. Finance Minister to present media budget tomorrow. It's on page 17 of today's graphic. No guarantor loans. 12 million cedis released to students. That's on page 16. And then in the Finder, teachers and government meet again today to seek solution to strike over 20% COLA. IMF bailout will help confidence in economy, says Alan. One name, but it's Alan Shremating. I know that for sure. Minister for Trade. SHS is to receive foodstuffs latest today. We will check it out tomorrow. We will verify. They say, in God we trust, the rest we verify. So we'll verify tomorrow for you, God willing. Don't abolish allowances. Nurses, midwife, trainees plead. And 2 Mawako food restaurant branches reopened. Go check them out and see whether they are doing the right thing. My name is Kafui Day, and the headlines are done for now. There's a dangerous picture of somebody sleeping on top of a truck. Snoring over death. Dangerous business. This show is also very dangerous because it's very unpredictable. And I'm not even going to tell you what's happening next. You have to watch. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm a businesswoman, and I know times are hard, but by paying the e-levy, I know I'm supporting other small businesses, just like mine. You too can help by paying the e-levy.
This ad is powered by the government of Ghana, Ghana Revenue Authority, and the people of Ghana.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Thanks for staying on. It's still Breakfast Live on GTV. President Akufo-Addo declared 2022 as the year of roads, and the roads are a critical part of the infrastructure. Drive a lot of the things that we see. Many parts of the country are crying for better roads. In fact, GBC is also receiving its own share of the year of roads. We have some of our roads also under construction in-house. But for a lot of communities, especially those that are not within the city center, the situation is dire, and even urban centers are crying for better roads. What's the plan for the next stage of the year of roads execution? And we have with us one of the public affairs director at the Ghana Highways Authority, Mr. Cecil Obodai-Wentum, in the studio to answer some of our questions. Cecil, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
It's home for you, isn't it?
Yeah, always good to be home. I have spent almost every week and any other day here. It's just that this is my first interaction I'm having with you on Breakfast Show, so I appreciate this opportunity and the time you have given to us.
You may remember Cecil Obodai-Wentum is one of the known voices on radio, and he was a key part of our unique FM team, so you may remember the voice from there. Cecil, so we are doing a lot of we're putting a lot of attention on the roads because other transport means like rail are not yet up and doing. When we talk about the current projects that are ongoing, which ones can you mention?
Okay, so for those of you who are aware, you know, our minister, Honorable Minister Kwesi Amokwata, is on record to have indicated that we have actually programmed about 6,000 kilometers of roads to be completed out of over 11,000 that has been programmed. And if I want to start now, I'm not going to finish, but I would narrow it down to a few major ones that are currently ongoing. We are also on record to have indicated that we have about 120 bridges to be built out of the 200 that we have programmed. Okay? And then put this together, we have also indicated that there are a number of interchanges that we're going to find. So about 20 interchanges to be completed out of 25 programmed by 2024. And as I speak to you now, we have truly followed this program and we're moving on. I'm sure you are aware, not too long ago, somewhere last on the 30th of June, Honorable Minister together with the Chief Executive of the Ghana Highway Authority and some officials of the Roads Ministry were in Japan to sign a contract, the final financial arrangement for the phase 2 of the Temamoto Way roundabout. That's a major work that we're going to see. The first phase is what you see as the situation. So if you look at the east-west end, the north-south end, you'll realize that you find some underpass. The underpass, as we speak now, we're going to have an overpass, and that will be the second phase. On that same stretch, if you're hitting the Aflau stretch, so the first 17 kilometers, you're aware that the contractor is even on site as I speak to you, BHM. So we're going to do the first 17 kilometers, Miocho to Miocho. And as I speak to you now, works have started. Those who use that stretch will attest the fact that works have started. If you move to the other side, the Tema, let's say from Ashaiman all the way to Atimpoku, the 63 kilometers, 64 kilometers, work has also started. And as I speak to you now, the contractors are on site in Zag, and they are doing everything possible to dualize, that sections. We're going to have a number of interchanges on that section, just as we're going to have on the... Now, if I move, let's say, onto the central corridor, you know that there's a lot of work also going on. It's just that because you have not seen excavators, but I can tell you that we've had a number of technical programs that are done today, geotechnical surveys, especially on the central corridor, to connect Kumasi. You understand? So you want to call the Accra-Kumasi stretch, for instance. And it's the reason for which I'm here. I will talk about it, but as I speak to you now, you go through Pokwasi, then after Pokwasi, or Fanko.
The interchange was touted as one of the key ways of reducing that gridlock traffic on that side of town. I find the need to travel that road on a daily basis, and it doesn't appear, at least to some, that it has eased the congestion by a lot of time. And so the question then is, the plan to dualize that point from after the interchange right up to Nsawam is still a bit much in the air.
Assurance that I'm giving motorists and the traveling public, that those who are following our discussion we're having now must be assured that we're going to see the dualization of that stretch. In fact, it's going to move. If you permit me, I'll walk you through the scope of work that we should expect. And what it means is that we're going to have about 33 kilometers of that stretch from Ofankor to Nsawam. And works will start anytime soon. And what I mean by soon is that, what's today's date? By 20th of July, you must see excavators on that stretch. And I have no doubt in my mind that the contractor who has been competitively given the award to carry out that stretch of work is going to do massive work, because there's capacity, he has capacity to deliver, he has capacity to function within time.
How long do we expect this to
24 months. 24 by July, let's say 2024, he should be delivering the project.
Are there alternatives that have been created?
Oh, definitely. There is no road project that will be done without alternatives. So the alternative is that now we are appealing. And for those of you who have followed, you agree with me that we have run a lot of crawlers on GTV, especially to alert the motoring public that when they are approaching the construction zone, they must adhere to some of the traffic management systems that we have put in place. And we are also appealing. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to the police, MTTD. We have written to them, but we're going to talk about it again with them and see how we can draw more support from them. And you see, for such projects, it's important, Thelma, to also engage all the stakeholders. And so we are planning a big stakeholder engagement to see how we can bring on board all, so that we will draw support from them, because our team of engineers will be on the ground, the contractors will be on the ground, the consultants will be on the ground. We will require the services of the police so that they will help in traffic management, systems. I mean, how we can direct so that people who approach, the construction zone, will know what to do. And for me, I think this is very, very critical and important.
So once the team hits the ground, hopefully on the 20th, what would be the first things that
we're going to reconstruct the existing asphaltic concrete pavement, as you know, because from that stretch that I mentioned, you have sections that are not too good. So there's going to be the reconstruction of the existing asphaltic concrete pavement. We're going to expand the main carriageway from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, including service lanes. So we're going to provide service lanes, about 11 pedestrian crossing facilities, and then we're also going to provide about 4 interchanges. And then obviously, once the road is constructed, it's going to come with some facilities, and of course you will have some drainage structures that will come with it, street lights, and then some provision of traffic signs, and then road markings. All put together will be part of the accessories and the furniture that we're going to provide to the road.
So that will take care of the road heading towards Nsawam.
Nsawam, yes.
And that's the main focus of this particular conversation, because that's starting sometime next week on Thursday.
Next week.
Yes. Okay.
And well, I noticed that you're showing something on your. This is how the road is going to look like, if you can see for yourself. And so for those who are, when it is all done, so this is what you call the artist impression.
Is that what we have now at
No, this is what it's going to look like when it is done.
I just want to figure out which point this is. Just
so
to give
I cannot tell you the sections, but I wish that I had, so that but this is how the stretch is going to look like.
Okay.
So just as I indicated, we're going to reconstruct the existing asphaltic concrete pavement. We're going to move it from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, so you can see. You understand? So it's going to be a dual carriage. So it's stretching all the way from Ofankor to Nsawam. So that's the picture that I want you to
and it's
to
all in this phase of
yes,
construction.
yes. It will finish in 24 months. In 24 months.
In 2 years, we'll have this
yes,
on the
delivered
stretch,
on schedule and under budget. Because
but what you're basically saying is it will get worse before it gets better, because now that active construction is about to begin.
I agree with you.
We should expect a slowdown.
There's no construction that doesn't come with inconvenience, and it's the reason for which we are appealing to be part of us, so that at least they give us the necessary support. And let me indicate again that the contractor who's going to do this work is called Maripoma. Everybody knows. Yes.
Now, or very recently, when we visited the area, our drone captured that footage. So this is the one that heads from the Ofankor area, heading towards Insawam, and then the lane that's returning towards the Ofankor area. This is the dual carriageway that the Ghana Highway Authority is going to construct. So they're expecting that traffic will be cut down even further. Traffic will be cut down even further. So the Eastern Corridor should see that development. And now this is the after that we would expect after 24 months.
That's the central corridor.
This is what
that's the
central corridor.
Yes.
So after 24 months, what you just saw a few seconds ago will become what you're seeing now. Big things happening there. And you say that the money to do this is already there.
Yeah, the contractor is already mobilized to site. And as I speak to you,
he has been paid.
Well, I mean, once I said contractor has mobilized the site, what it means is that he has carried all his equipment
and that's why I asked if it is all in this phase of the construction, because there are projects which start off in phases, and perhaps the first phase completes and then the second phase funding has to be found for that, and then there's a slowdown.
I can assure you that as somebody who speaks for the authority, I am giving you my position on this, that in the next 24 months this job or this road project will be delivered on schedule.
On schedule. You've told us about Tema Motorway and the expansions that you're expecting towards Miocho and those going towards Akplau and the rest. Now, apart from people they're looking at you and thinking, so are Kaswa people not part of the plan, especially in that portion of Botiano? Botiano in particular, you know, one of my producers, Felix Kofi, he will be coming for you very soon. And he's very interested about that stretch of road because the complaints that come from there are quite huge. What's the plan for that side of town?
As you are aware, Thelma, you know, government has plans to dualize our major trunk roads. So Accra, Cape Coast, Takrady, just as you indicated, is also on our drawing board and has been given close attention. And so Botiano falls within the urban road projects. And not too long ago, we have visited Englishi, Amanfrun, and some of those areas where there are serious challenges, I mean, as far as some of their inner road projects are concerned. But I am aware that there's been tremendous work that is ongoing to see to it that the majority of those areas are dealt with. And if your cameras can play back some of the visits that we have had within the English Yamanfro, Botiano suburbs, we have identified some of the roads that as quickly as possible needs to be dealt with. And I can assure you that in no time, I mean, as far as the urban road program is concerned, I mean, all these road projects will be dealt with.
Right. I'm going to ask, we'll be wrapping up very shortly, but it seems that we focused a lot of this on roads in Accra. And so those who are watching me from other parts of the country will say, so Thelma, we that we are watching, Mina Hunter Franco, but I know that Takrady people will ask a question. So people ask, beyond Accra, what are the major road construction works to expect?
If you have followed our program, you will know that across the length and breadth of this country, all the 16 regions have tasted or have witnessed some tremendous amount of work.
And the IMF bailout program will not as it's happening?
Well, I mean, I don't want to move into that conversation anyway.
It's
but
about funding. And
yes,
if,
I know.
If we are expected to make some cuts on government expenditure,
I know.
One of the big places where government spends huge sums of money is roads. So if there's an expectation of any cuts, is there an expectation that roads will have to give something as well to contribute?
Well, I mean, this one I'm speaking from my own perspective. Okay. I mean, I can tell you that, look, if you want an egg you need to raise a chicken, right?
Or if you need an egg, you need to have an egg that will become a chicken. The chicken and the egg is an egg.
Exactly. So that's the thing. And so, I mean, for me, as a country, we must have a way of looking at how we can fund some of these projects. I mean, are we ready to pay to get good roads? Are we ready? I have traveled across. I mean, I won't say that I've gone around the world, but I've gone to some places and I know that people pay for the roads they use. You understand? If you want good roads, you pay for the roads you use.
We used to have a road toll.
No, I mean, we can. That's another conversation I would love to move into so that we can have a very deep conversation.
Is it time to bring back the tolls?
Well, I can't say it now because of the kind of financial arrangements that are underway in Parliament and all that, with e-levy coming on board and all that. I can't sit here to say that, but I can tell you that if we want good roads, we must. In other jurisdictions, you have private people who have invested in roads, and they have an arrangement where government, private people have agreed that toll this particular section of the road and charge this X amount of money. It could be 60-40, it could be 50-50, it could be 70-30. Is that the situation we have here? No, that's not. So if this is the kind of conversation we're going to have, I am thinking that we must sit again as stakeholders and see how we can solve this thing once and for all.
I can't let you without talking about GBC's own taste of that national agenda.
Good.
So there has a few things have happened at GBC in recent times, and what you're seeing on the screens now are portions of our main, so the principal streets of GBC getting a good slap of good roads there. So we have a lot to appreciate the Ghana Roads and Highways Authority for, but we are asking for more. Yeah. When do we expect the next phase to commence?
Well, I mean,
it's not even done.
If you have followed our program again, you realize that there's been some attempt to asphalt or resurface some institutions. So some major schools, and GBC is very lucky and fortunate to have had the attention of the roads ministry. And so I think the ministry deserves the kudos. I mean, but I mean, just as and what you're letting your viewers see, it's enough to let you know that, I mean, our program is intact, and we will continue, I mean, from this point, and make sure that all other places get the kind of attention that they need.
Cecil.
Thank you, Thelma.
Thank you. Nice to have you back home.
Thanks.
Cecil Ni Obodai-Wentum is the Public Affairs Director at the Ghana Highway Authority. He's been speaking to us about plans to begin the construction of the Ofankor and Sawam stretch of road, 30 kilometers, expected to begin next week, perhaps on the 20th of July. He's saying that we should expect a 3-lane so the dual carriage will become 3 lanes plus a service lane, 11 pedestrian crossings expected, as well as 4 interchanges together with the drains also in construction. He's saying that alternatives will be provided, but motorists are being advised to adhere to those sanctions and the cautions that will be put on the road as construction begins. So it will be 24 long months of construction, which will create some inconveniences for those who travel that road frequently. But the assurance is that if we bear with the situation, things will improve when there's finally the need to commission, inaugurate, open that road up finally, and it will ease traffic on that stretch to Nsawam. This is GTV Breakfast, and we'll have another conversation on the strike actions by the Public Service Workers Union, and PSWU is in the house after the break.
Before the party go end, make you go tell a friend. We go mania, we go scatter, and the whole place go bend. If you no get money, go home. All my fun.
issues. The teachers are already at the negotiating table with government asking for their 20% cost of living allowance, which they call COLA. Now, they are not the only union that's asking for this. The PSWU have thrown their hat in the race for COLA, the Public Service Workers Union, and the national chairman for the union is here, and he will answer a few of our questions. Mr. Ken Cheneboa-Kodia. Chairman, good morning.
Hi, Thelma, good morning.
You're saying that from next week, which is the 19th of July, if government does not pay members of your union the 20% cost of your living allowance, then all tools are laid down?
Yes, Thelma. At the last Management Committee meeting last Friday, all the 65 public institutions resolved that if nothing is done about their cost of living allowance, after appealing and writing no responses, they will have no choice but to lay down their tools. Yeah, so it's a yes.
And I've spoken to a labor analyst, a labor expert on the same table, and he said that when it comes to cost of living allowance, it's not a conditions of service issue. And so why not ask for a better salary than ask for 20% of a figure you already consider very little? In fact, in the release that you issued, you did say that inflation continues to rise, with the official figures for May 2022 at 27.6%, which is an 18-year high. You go on to say this has led to frequent price increase and this is what I find interesting, a constant erosion of the real value of the relatively low wage of public sector workers. So why not ask for better wages?
Yes, Thelma, we'll get there. What we are asking for now is as a result of the inflationary effect on our wages. If you recall, last year when Labour went to negotiate for workers, at that time when government proposed 4% for last year and 7% for this year, Labour felt that was quite low, and obviously very low. But the promise was that inflation would be around 8%. So if inflation would be around 8%, then take 4% last year and 7% this year, all things being equal, the inflation will not have too much effect on our wage. So that was a major assumption that came up. Difficult as it was, we have to accept that, and you saw the backlash from workers. But then ask yourself, between then and now, what has happened? Inflation has hovered now above 30%. So the assumption that it will be around 8% to cushion our income is no more existent. So all we are saying is that as a result of that, our income is eroded. Cost of living is barely unsustainable, from fuel to food to rent to kids' school fees, clothing. Everything has tripled in terms of prices. What has remained constant is the already meager salary of. So what we are asking for at this level is a cost of living allowance to cushion us. It cannot restore us to the value of our income, but at least it can give some relief to the worker. And for now, that is what we are asking for. When we asked for the cost of living allowance in May, during the May Day, then inflation was about 27%. So the assumption was that we had 7%, inflation is 27%, in between, the difference is about 20%. So give us that change in between to cushion us. But Thelma, between even the May that we mentioned at 27 and now, look at where inflation is. And it's still going up. So the public servant obviously has no choice but to ask for something to take the burden off him so he can come to work and produce.
Right. You also mentioned in that latest press release that patriotic citizens and social partners in the development which include organized labor unions and the PSWU, took the hard decision to accept the 4% and the 7%. And then you go on to allege that the Article 71 office holders are taking, I want to use your exact, relatively high salary increases, and this is for Article 71 and related office holders and government expenditure partners. What we've been told is that cabinet ministers have agreed to take a 30% cut, and we've seen issues surrounding even the Article 71 office holders also being agitated in media circles. So if the government officials are taking a 30% cut, what's the expectation that you would get this increase that you're asking for, even if it's for COLA?
Okay. Let's be sincere in this country. If you take 30% off the benefit of the Article 71 holder, what impact would that make to him? You must see the allowances they live on. Everything is virtually given to them. Everything they need is virtually given to them through allowances. I sincerely believe that those category of workers can even live without salary. But the poor public servant has sacrificed throughout the whole of last year on the 4% when inflation is eating his income. So when you mentioned Article 71 workers, I sincerely believe that their class is already high. The change that occurred on their income, 27%, when we were around 4%. So if I've gotten a small change on a big salary, it's big. So a bigger change on that salary is already big. So the cut, yes, we appreciate it, but Thelma is not something that I'm sure they will fail it. If they want to fail it, then they should come to the public service sector where we all sacrifice. So we all know that we all sacrifice it. But at this point, I believe that the public servant has been stretched to a limit where he cannot hold it any longer.
We are at a point where we are sitting with our partners from the Bretton Woods institution to give us a helping hand. And do you think that now is the time, even after teachers have also embarked on a similar tangent and have not come to a resolution of that matter? You think now is the time to also join?
Thelma, when should be the time? When people are going to work anymore because they cannot afford fuel in their vehicles or public transport to work? What effect will the IMF bring if the workers who are supposed to come to work and produce cannot come or are burdened in their heart as a result of cost of living? Let's face the fact. And I hear IMF's program to Ghana welcome, but he has a position on that. Currently, we are saying that we cannot sustain what we have. IMF is like a parent at home. Your child is hungry. You are seeing your child hungry. I mean, it's not as if he's faking it. It's real. All the indicators are pointing to the fact that the employee's income is eroded. Cost of living is rising, not even stable, rising. Obviously, the cannot sustain him. These are how do we solve that? Unless somebody says that these are not facts. But if they are facts, let's admit them. And after admission, let's see what steps we can put in place to address them. And I think that the call from PSW is in the right direction.
There's a portion of your statement, and you refer to the IMF discussion, and you allege that a possible return to IMF further complicates the economic uncertainties faced by public sector workers and flashes back memories of harsh labor policies that disadvantage the ordinary worker. What do you mean in effect here?
Thelma, if you have followed IMF programs, you will realize that all the 17 programs plus the current one, 18, what has that brought to this country? They come in with some funds to the country. They come to
to check us, those managing our economy, things that they should have been doing that they didn't do, expenditure, they come and help us to fall in line. In that process, they give us some conditionalities to follow.
The IMF does not give conditionalities. The government goes to the institution with its own plan, and they look over it, and if the group agrees that that could help us, then they agree to go along with it. But so, the government of the day, from our first bailout to now, would present its own policies, and the institution, the IMF, would agree to abide by those terms set in place by the government. So these conditionalities are not impositions from the IMF per se. It is the government side that offers some of these positions.
Thelma, it's not entirely true. 2015 to 2018 program. As part of the program, asked government not to employ. They put a freeze on employment.
The suggestion is that it would have come from a place where government put that offer on the table, and the IMF would agree to abide by it.
So when you say that they don't put conditions along the way, I'm trying to tell you that it comes with it. When you ask government not to employ, you put a freeze on employment. You are asking all our graduates, all your children, who you have struggled, labored, paid school fees, gone for loan to pay their school fees after school. You are asking them to stay home. The parent will continue to feed that child. It adds on the social effect of that. It's enormous. So let's not pretend that, and I don't blame IMF, because they come and they want to keep us in line. Your revenue cannot meet your expenditure. You take the interest and amortization payment of the country plus compensation, your income is almost gone. You don't have enough for statutory payments. So I understand the equation, but its social effects on Ghanaians match to that. You see that obviously they don't come to address the fundamental structural problem of this country. They come with a temporary solution, but the problem facing this country still persists. And that's our position, that all their 17 programs that we've gone through, what has it brought or changed our structural economic programs? So let's look at it from that perspective, rather than the temporary solution is 6 to 8. So matching that against the problem, we feel that Singapore, South Korea, China have all moved and developed their economy, not through IMF. What did they do right? Why can't we copy them? So it goes beyond, but for now, the discussion is this. The engine of economic government machinery, 65 public institutions who are supposed to drive the economy, are telling you that their cost of living is so high that their meager salary cannot hold it.
The government side has always also maintained that much of the money that it gets as a government on a monthly basis is spent on paying salaries of workers already in the system. So workers of Ghana who are in the government sector already take huge chunk of government money. And so one of the things they may ask you is to hold on to this claim while they try to sort out all these other financial issues which the economic team is trying to negotiate with the team, so that when things get better, then they could consider it. Is that something you're willing to consider when you get to the table and it's put before you?
Thelma, has anything gotten better in this country? In fact, I'm here to see any government that comes to say, I have money. Every government has no money, because every government has things to spend on. When it gets to that of the public servant, then it becomes as if there's no money. But when it gets to other projects and commitments, government finds a will to address it. PSW is 63 years old. All these years, we've not mentioned strike. So to hear us at this point asking for something, it should tell that people are are really suffering.
Why not resort to dialogue and negotiation?
We have. What people don't see behind the scenes are the dialogue that we always. TUC has always valued its social dialogue partnerships, and we always engage at the back. But it appears that sometimes that approach doesn't work, because until the SG for TUC, Dr. Yauba, announced at the May Day that we want Kola route. To that effect, no response, made pronouncements, and this threat is as a lot of these threats that you are seeing government now coming around to say that I want to meet you for some discussion. But otherwise, nobody was really listening.
But will Kola really address the pay disparity in the sector? Because there are those high earners who continue to earn very high salaries and allowances, and then there are those who get very low. The 20% you're asking for is not even on the entire amount that people take home at the end of the month. It's only on the basic salary. So how does that address the disparity in the pay?
Toma, it doesn't. And like you rightly said, there are serious disparities in the public servants. I mean, all the institutions. And that is one of the reasons why the Senchi Forum was held, where all the those who matter in the labor plus government met and was trying to chart some roadmap to see how we can bring harmony to these disparities. What has happened over the years for the public servant and our members is nothing to call salary increment. Toma, if you have 10% salary increment and your salary is only determined annually, between the time you had a salary and the anniversary year, inflation erodes about 30% of that income. By the time you come for the next salary negotiation, even if you are giving 10% or 20%, it doesn't restore you to where you were before.
But the union negotiates these monies on behalf of its members with the government. So when you sit at the table and you're making these asks of the pairs, presumably you factor in these things and make a request, and then they respond accordingly. So you do factor them in. It
comes to suggest that the public service worker has sacrificed a lot over the years. That's the point I'm trying to make. That in terms of real wage restoration, we've not come there. So this COLA we are asking for, and like you rightly said, it's just to cushion us temporarily whilst we get to salary negotiations. So this is, and like you said, this one does not stake on us. It's an allowance, temporary in nature, that cushion us with this small. When we get to the negotiation table, we'll see what we can negotiate for to bring us up. So it's something that I think should not be too much of a burden to the government, looking at what the workers, where the workers are. Sunday at church, a lady just walked to me and said, "Chairman, if not for the fact that my husband loves me so much and trusts me, he would think that the job money he gives to me to market, I put somewhere." I said, "Oh, then let me go to the market one day, just do the list for him to go to market, so he goes to experience the prices himself." It's real. Any sincere person in the public service will tell you that whatever money we take home now does not go anywhere. And so the COLA is just something small, not 20% of the public servants'
basic salary.
Yes, tell me, you are there. How much? Something small. So it shouldn't be seen as if we are asking for something giant to collapse the country. No. We are too responsible to do that.
And if the team says, as you've alluded, there is no money, you're saying that all public sector workers, including staff of GBC, including myself,
yes, Thelma,
including everybody who works on the breakfast show team, should not come to work next week.
Yes, Thelma.
If the government says they cannot meet your demand, then we stay home.
I pray that we don't get there, and I seriously pray But if that happens, all the 65 public institutions in this country will lay down their tools. There are a few among us who are not directly affected by this COLA, the GRA, the civil aviation, the Great Coal, the VRAs, but they are all on standby because we are all a family. The other 15 institutions would have no choice but to lay down their tools
in solidarity,
whilst the others at some point will join also.
You are talking some 27,000+ workers.
Yes, Thelma.
All to lay down their tools. So on the 19th, what day is the 19th of July?
Tuesday next week.
If this does not go through, there will not even be a breakfast show on
No,
TV.
there wouldn't be.
Now, on the bigger picture is to get people to take home better pay. Where are we when it comes to negotiations for that? Because I've heard of meetings with all the stakeholders, fair wages, labor, and the Ministry of Employment, and the workers agitating, pushing you yourself facing your own internal wranglings within the PSWU. Where are we going? For the ordinary worker, they just want better pay, and that's not happening.
Thelma, there can be a better pay as it were. But if we are able to hold the other factors that are eroding our pay, at least we can make some headway. Because I know that government will not get what workers want in terms of resources to pay what we want. It's obvious. But they must try to hold all the other things that are affecting the income of the worker. The fact remains that the public servant, Thelma, is not getting better. After serving 35 years, 25 years, because your salary is already low, your Senate would obviously be low. Your second tier, if you have, will be low. In recent past, people leave public service with television sets and radios and TVs as their reward. 35 years of service. That's what is due the public servant. He goes on retirement on that meager SNET. He has no retirement health care policy. And research has shown that the poor public servant uses about 60% of his already meager SNET income on health. Come to accommodation. In the past, you find the public service worker borrowing money. In fact, check our a half of the public servant's pay slip has loans. In the past, the loans were to help pay our kids' school fees, was to help start our houses. In recent times, it is to sustain the home. And the banks obviously are also feeding on a higher interest rate on this. So the plight of the public servant right through employment and to retirement is something that the state must look at.
So again, I ask, you are the union, you are the negotiators. When it comes to PSWU, you sit at the top of that chart. What's happening? Again, I ask.
Thelma, things will change. PSWU has instituted its fund scheme. I'm sure GBC is aware. I was here. We are commencing a health policy that should take care of our members now and during retirement. On our own, we are trying to do something for our members. But the employer who has engaged us for 35 years, 20 years, what is he doing for us? And ironically, Thelma, look at those who go on the political class. 8 years in service, 4 years in service. What they get? The public servant, whether the doctor or teacher, doesn't get even a quarter of that. So it's a pure sacrificial work.
Chairman, you have listen, there are so many people in my ears right now asking me to ask you, throwing questions.
Okay.
But you are the leader of that negotiating team.
Yes, Thelma.
And so the welfare of the people, as you so eloquently espoused, communicate to the government side. Since you've been in charge, what have been the challenges? Why have we not still seen the kind of changes we want to see? Where are the hitches, and how can we remove them so that we move forward?
Okay. What we have not done much as leaders is to come out to our members and tell them what we've been doing at the back. There's been series of talking, negotiations with the government on these welfare issues. Except that because it's not materialized, you can't come out and tell workers that this is what we are doing. But as I said, TUC and PSW, we've always believed in social dialogue. Talking. So I can tell you that there are things that we are discussing in the boardroom on the welfare of the employee. That is independent of the publicly to announce. We are getting to a stage where TUC is even planning of coming up with its own bank, labor bank, where it can get the welfare of its members addressed through the bank, so we avoid this commercial high interest rate banks. But all of these things are still on the table, and I'm sure at the right time we'll outline certain things to our members.
So one of our members who is watching us is saying, PSW, drop the Kola Sakura demand. We need substantial increase in the base pay in 2023 with pension contributions.
Okay, so that is a right call. A drastic increase in our basic salary is right. You get to the table there, you meet the figures, ability to pay, and a few other things. But I will emphasize again that no matter how high salary increment we go for, if we don't hold the things that are likely to affect our income, you go this high, the inflation goes that high, and you will lose at the long run. And how high can you go looking at what we just describing? But we are resolved that this year's negotiation will not be like last year.
Because
last year we took the assumption.
Your people who are inclusive of GBC staff said I should tell you, if you come back with another 4 or 7%, they will not take it. And there are also some who think that the PSWU has been very laid back when it comes to fronting the demands of its members. For example, some think it took the strike by the teachers to ginger you to also come out with your own demand and to also issue the threat of a strike next week as you're doing. Is that the case?
No, please.
Do you have the trust of your members?
Yes, we do. I've been here several times. If you recall, that the COLA was first mentioned by TUC, not the teachers. And we wrote as far back as last month. It was last 3 weeks when Dr. Yauban announced that, look, we've waited enough, and that if government doesn't respond, we would have no choice. That is where the teachers. But you see, we are 65 public institutions. Thelma, half of us going on strike, this country runs down. So you try as much as possible to engage our employers to see how we can get things done. But where we got to, we realized that, look, I think that the things are tough, and we have no choice but to get to where we are. And I agree with the person who sent the message. And some of us who will be going around these institutions appealing to workers. I've been here several times to appeal to you, but for how long can I come here appealing to workers? So I pray, and then I pray that come 19th or before then, government will listen. But otherwise, I can assure you that we have no choice.
Your final words before we wrap. Considering where we are as a country, what are you expecting from those negotiations? And are you willing to get a smaller percentage if that should be offered to you as we wrap up?
As in the COLA or salary negotiations?
In this particular instance, it's the COLA, but even in the broader conversation of addressing the pay gap.
Thelma, we will need a realistic pay increase. Something that can cushion the public service worker throughout the year. Remember that unlike the business community that can change their price anytime they want every week, the public servant or the public service worker cannot change his salary. He has to hold it for 1 whole year. So this time, I'm assuring my members that we will do everything possible to get a realistic income and also hold government accountable for its inflationary promises that it will make.
I just smiled because I know that anything that you ask for, the blessing will fall on me. Thank you for making us a part of your morning.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Thelma.
Mr. Cont Akodia is the national chairman of the Public Service Workers Union. He's been speaking to us about their demand for a 20% COLA from government and the threat of a strike from July 19 if government does not heed that call. He's saying that a realistic pay increase is needed to cushion workers throughout the year. And PSWU has 65 public institutions and have about 27,000 plus workers. So the threat of all those workers laying down their tools expected to have a massive impact on the fortunes of the country. Cost of living allowance 20% is the demand by PSWU, also adding on to the teachers' demand also for 20%. TUC making similar demands here. So serious issues being addressed on the labor front, and when there are updates, we will be here to update you. Mr. Twenibu Akodia, thank you so much for being with us. And we'll take a break. When we come, we are going to the theatres. And if you're like me and you love those Sebo White plays, there's one person in particular who has played so many characters that I'm sure you love with his deep, resounding voice. And we'll get to know him a bit more intimately after the break.
Putting someone in that madhouse is what will send me to hell. It's a sin.
If anybody can take care of me, Felicity, Marianne is nothing.
Oh, okay.
Marianne is just...
Hanson.
Mr. Hanson.
Bye-bye.
I was thinking I was coming to work in the office at the design section. That's why I left home, not to become a personal maid. Please, help me out of it.
I can't help you. No one can help you. You are stuck here for a whole year. Read the contract. Not for a day or a month, but an entire year.
I can't stay here. I'll leave.
Hey, be careful what step you take, young lady. Or else you will land yourself and your whole family in a whole lot of trouble. Exactly.
Yeah, let us pray. Oh, Miracle. Friday nights in the 1 year. Boys and the girls in the hatchet. I should remember quite 1 day after so I'm a broken. I say, or I say, bad, just see, I know. I'm in my room. I owe you an apology. What for? I'm sorry. I should have had the balls to fight for you. But I don't have the balls.
Sammy.
I don't have the balls.
Oh, Sammy, you have the balls.
No, I don't have the balls.
Oh, you have the balls.
No, I don't have the balls.
Yes. You don't. You know what, Sammy? You don't have the balls.
I don't have the balls.
You don't. Just get and talk to me because only
and Pusina.
Hey, you're bring Pusina. Yes. Crocodile. Oh.
No, it's octopus.
Oh yeah, that's what I've thought. Yeah, octopus. You know, octopus is my favorite beverage.
Have you heard of Nana Kofi Bonsam?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's the #1 juju man inside Ghana. I've heard of him. Yeah.
I heard him on the radio saying that he can get you back into the game.
If talk me, you mentioned my name.
I have booked an appointment for you to go and see him tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Hey. Nana says he won't collect anything from you.
Madre, so where you have standing? Where you have standing? First, you have bring me olive water. Holy water and
olive oil.
Olive oil. You have bring me all these things. Now you have said Nana Kofi Bonsam. So where have you standing? This thing is oppositional opposite.
But Nana says that he can reverse the injury back to sender. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
Father, you know, I've appreciated everything that you have done for me.
Oh.
But me, I've chosen my choose. I've chosen Almighty God. It's my refuge and my stone.
Hi guys, welcome. And so I've been warned by my producers and almost everybody who watches the show not to say hi guys again. So we are going to do this together as a family. Kindly help me whenever I say hi guys. To look for some sort of punishment. So yeah, like I said, we're going to the movies, and we are not just going to be speaking with an actor. He's both on screen, stage. He's a comic actor. Like, he's a cocktail of everything acting, and my guest is Andrew Adote Tando, and from the videos you watched earlier, everybody knows you, your voice.
Yeah.
Especially your voice.
I've been told.
Oh my goodness.
So. Yeah, it's good to be here.
We love you being here, first time ever.
Yes.
Thank you for coming, Andrew.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's an honor to be here. Nice to meet you. And yeah, let's have some fun. What's up?
I like how you sound. How do you sound when you wake up? I'm just curious.
About the same as I sound now, because I haven't spoken much since I woke up. So yeah.
How do you sound on the phone?
On the phone. You'll have to ask those I speak to on the phone. So I can't really say.
All right.
But about the same. Just maybe the sound waves or whatever might change, through the phone. So I might sound a bit different. I don't know.
Okay. So your sound waves, does it sound the same when you're maybe a little agitated, a little angry, maybe a bit emotional?
Yeah, there are slight changes. When I'm extremely tired, it's different. When I just woke up, it's different. But if I've been yelling for a long time, maybe on stage or something, that also sounds a bit different. So
wow.
Yeah.
And so your voice is one thing that resonates. I mean, people do not know you. People might not have seen your face, but then when they hear your voice, they're like, oh, I've heard this voice before.
Yeah. I've done a few commercials here and there over the years. So, yeah, it's the chances that you've heard me either on radio or voice in a radio ad or a TV ad are pretty high, because I've been doing voiceovers also for over a decade,
So which is your trump card? Your voice or your acting skills?
It will have to be a combination of both, I guess, because the acting skills kind of feed into the voiceover skills, because you're communicating a certain emotion with the for the product and stuff like that. So if you're supposed to, whoever wants you to do the voiceover says they want you to sound excited, or they want you to sound corporate, you take this.
Right.
You take this. It's a brand, right? I can mention the brand.
Yes, you can. Awake, yes, they are sponsors.
We want you to be excited about, there you go, Awake Mineral Water, always the best for you. Or if you want to do corporate, you go, Awake Mineral Water, always the best for you. If you do promo and you really yell, then you kind of...
Can you do that for us?
Awake Mineral Water, always the best for you. So you do that, and the acting skills kind of feed into that, because you're able to tap into the emotion, much better, much more efficiently, and much faster. So,
nice.
Yeah.
So guys, if you do not know this voice, and then I can guarantee you are not a creative person and you do not like everything entertainment. Andrew, we do love your voice.
Thank you.
So how did it begin? How did it begin for you? You've been around in the creative industry for almost 2 decades.
Yes, 15, 16 years. Well, it always starts with, I came to a crossroads in my life, where I had to decide whether to, go the path everyone else has gone, corporate and
yeah.
You'll be amazed at the number of creative people stuck in corporate Ghana. So I had that choice to make, and I decided I'll go full creative. And once I did that, I had to look for opportunities to express my creativity and monetize it as much as I could, as I can. So I began to pursue opportunities to, do some acting and I met back then Jessica, who worked at City FM.
Yes,
she said she remarked that, oh, you have a nice voice, you should do voiceovers. But it was at the back of my mind for a long time. But when I came back from an exchange program and decided to fully pursue the arts, I decided, what can I do to make money with everything that I can do, the drawing, the voice and acting. And so one by one, I began to look for opportunities to, express these different, back then, I wouldn't call them skills, I'd call them talents or whatever. And then, one by one, I met who put me on the Roverman platform where I was able to shape the acting. And then the voiceovers kind of started coming in little by little. What someone would hear of me and say, oh, call this guy for me, what's his number, that kind of thing. And the art thing also kind of developed on its own from there, because I was also illustrating for the Rover Report Monthly, that's Uncle Ebo's magazine. So little by little, all these three areas kind of grew, and here we are.
Nice. How many Roverman productions have you been in?
I've lost count because we do a play every 3 months, and we've been doing this since 2008. So we're talking about almost 50, if not more. And I've been in all of them except 4 or 5, I think.
Right. Yeah. Which was your first Ebo-wide movie play?
Oh, it was the very first play we did in September 2008, which was Unhappy Wives, Confused Husbands. So that was the baptism of fire, as it were, because the curtains went up and the whole place was packed. We had people waiting outside and all that, and that was my first, introduction to professional theater. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a great feeling.
Okay, what was the experience? Share with us. How did you feel when suddenly the curtains opened and the lights went?
Yeah, well, we had worked really hard during rehearsals and all that, so the curtain was down. I remember even to this day, I remember so clearly. I was standing in the backstage in makeup and costume, and the curtain, I heard the sound of the ring, and the curtain was going up, and I'm supposed to start singing before I come on stage. So I start singing, I get onto the stage, I see the crowd, and then whoosh, that goes through you, because it's like, wow, look at all these people. But fortunately, all the work we had done during rehearsals kicked in, and I kind of went into all the motions that we've always gone through, and the rest is history.
Right. What was your role? What role did you play in that movie?
I played the role of a very old man and his wife. He who lived with his wife. They were empty nesters.
Yes.
So the kids had all married and moved out, and he was with his wife there. And then the story takes off when each of their children come home with one issue or the other in their marriage, and it's up to the parents to step in and bring some wisdom and sanity to the situation.
So I've heard
that was the role. Okay. Yeah.
What did you sing? Do you remember?
Oh,
you're a chorister anyway.
No, I'm not a chorister.
You should.
I don't as a singer really, because it's taken over a decade to get me to sing as well as I do now. And that was by force. Uncle will literally force us to get into singing. So I'm not someone who naturally would be walking down the street and be singing. It's because of something small.
Something small, that's necessary. That's necessary. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but I want you to do that very first song on your first ever play. Do you remember?
It was very simple. So yeah,
I do it so that you usher us nicely into our break from Airtel Tigo, because the movie sat here.
Okay.
So yeah.
It was a very simple. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. That's about it.
That's it. Yeah. It's easy as that. It's not easy for some people though, guys. So we're chatting.
Well, as you can see, you have met us in peace. Yeah. You are the new arrival.
Yeah. How? Uncle, thank you.
You know, our elders have said that if you look a king in Murphy's side, you have seen that if he gets woman breast, he will drink. Yeah. Me too. Yeah, you know, I've came in the pieces, but not with a good news.
Oh.
Yeah, as you have known, the life of a football is full of risky. Yeah. You know, I was a very injury when I have come to play for Ghana, you know, and my club is giving me a treatment. But the injury was very serious. In fact, it was a very fatal.
Oh.
Yeah.
So who died?
No, it's not a dying fatal. It's a normal fatal. Yeah. So, you know, I have to take a long time for healing. And I sit on bench for 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah. So after the 3 months, I feel like I can play again. So I seduced my coach to let me play. So I come in the second half. I play for 10 minutes. And my injury aroused me again.
Oh.
Yeah. So I go for the 2 amputation, and now doctor say I need more time for healing.
Your mother has laid a table for you.
Come and eat.
Come and eat and rest.
I'm apology, but I'm not a hunger. Yeah, you know, I've eaten the plane on the flight. Yeah.
Welcome back, guys. And so, yeah, that was Andrew there on Andrew's how do you say on stage. Yeah. Okay, so what happened? Like footballer, your lingo. How long did you practice?
Well, the thing is that when I got the script from Uncle, it had all the normal English, normal proper English. So we start the rehearsal, and Uncle walks up to me and says, Andrew, I want you to turn this English upside down. We're doing the stereotypical player who didn't get much education but somehow got an opportunity abroad. So he's kind of learned the English but hasn't learned it too well, but has an accent attached to it, you know. So we took that base and took it to the extreme. So that every sentence, and he said he wants every sentence to make people laugh. So I had to rewrite all my lines in the script to fit that character. So I had to look for the silliest. It was supposed to be silly, extremely silly, but make sense at the same time. Yeah. You know, so that it kind of, so that was a challenge that was thrown to me. And there was also Ronaldo, which was
we love him.
Yeah.
We love him.
He's one of my favorite characters.
Do you have any other favorite characters?
Yes, there was a character I played in a play we did called Bananas and Groundnuts, and it was a character called Abraham. He was supposed to be this very, on the surface at least, very boring, seemingly very boring, seemingly not very sociable or socialized, you know, socially awkward, extremely awkward socially. And once again, the challenge was thrown. And once I got the script, I kind of saw how the character would be. So through rehearsals, with the help of Uncle, we kind of shaped it up, and we created a very, very wonderful, interesting character. You know, that was a lot of fun to play.
We love your characters, especially your voice, Okay, so which do you love most, more, stage play or screen acting?
Well, because of how I came up in the arts through stage and all that, so I'm partial to stage, because I'm used to how the grind of it and how it works and all that. Screen took a lot more getting used to because of the waiting. You know, you have to wait for long periods of time for your turn and all that. But stage, once the rehearsal is over, you go. Once the curtain goes up, everything is go all the way until the end. You know, so there's no wait, because for one scene, if let's say they do my close up or whatever, once they shift to you, it's not just the camera that is shifting, it's everything else, all the lights and everything moved to make you also depending on your skin tone and whatever. So it's a whole thing when moving from one scene to another, setting up and all that. So the waiting involved takes a lot more getting used to. So I would say stage is I'm favoring stage right now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play on your bias then. The movie industry, when it comes to screen, has is on a wavy length now. It goes up, down. There are dips, and then there's stage play, which is catching on gradually. It's just catching on. It's catching fire.
Yes.
Which of these two would you ask that the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Arts perhaps put more light on, or you just say they carry all two? And what structures would you want to see changed in our industry?
No, I would strongly suggest they concentrate on both, because both have their appeal. Societies that we see as more evolved or developed than ours, they have an active theater alongside an active movie industry. You know, people consume both in equal measure. So you can, when you go abroad, it's not only the screen opportunities you'll have that you can literally survive on. You can go on the stage side in any setting. They have a very thriving theater industry as well. So I would suggest they concentrate on both, because both have a different part to play in different ways to feed our society.
Well, you're an all-rounder when it comes to the arts. The screens on our image is art.
Yes. I do a bit of visual arts as well. Yeah.
Okay. So, where have you gotten to your art in terms of visual art? Is it just going to be a hobby? Are you looking to take it further, perhaps an exhibition? What's happening with that? Are you going to shelf it?
Yeah, all that is on the map. No, I have no intention of shelving it. Yes, it was on the back burner for a while, for a really long time, because the theater kind of took over and we were just going and going and going and going. And then when we had the pandemic, everything slowed down, and then I kind of went back to it. So everything you're seeing now is from that period, you know, and now the challenge to me is that I shouldn't let it slide back into the background. So I'm actively working on establishing some kind of consistency as far as producing the art is concerned. So no, it's not going back again. It went away, but it's not going back.
Righties. Okay. I know that if you're on TV, there are ways where you can protect your image. Protect your image. Is there a way to do that? How do you do that? Do you protect your voice? Is there something that protects your voice? You have got copyright issues.
We
want to know how voice actors...
As in legal
how
stuff. You
protect yourself so that your voice is not... People just don't use your voice out there. Is there something like that?
Well, the thing is that in a society or in an environment where everything kind of worked really well, there would be things in place to protect your voice as an intellectual property, and there would be things put in place where anytime your voice plays somewhere, money goes into your account. There are societies like that. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. So it's kind of like the Wild West out here, and the more leverage, the more skill you have, the more leverage you can use to have a little bit of leverage or protection for your. But by and large, I don't think we've gotten to the point where those things are in place in this country, you know. Because if they were, I mean, voiceovers alone I would have built 2 houses, you know, because I've been doing this for a long time. I've done for some of the biggest brands, if not all of them, you know. But unfortunately, things don't work as they should, at least not yet. So we're kind of holding on and hoping that one day, soon, hopefully, things fall into place and everything flows as it should, legally especially.
We're hoping it gets there for all creative, for the sake of all creative persons in Ghana. Was there ever, would you say that peak of your career, or there's more up your sleeve?
Man, peak is so far away. You know, I don't think we've gotten anywhere at all. You know, I don't think I've gotten anywhere at all. As far as potential is concerned, I see actors every day that intimidate me because of how masterful they are, and these are actors in Ghana.
Oh wow!
You know, yeah.
Would you want to name a few or not?
Oh, there's of course Ajete is there.
Yeah.
But I've been on set with some young guys like Jeffrey Notte. The guy is amazing. He can get emotional like that, and he's
Jeffrey.
You know. And who else? Godwin Nambo is there. Their names are starting to, you know, but yeah, you know, I'm like, wow, Charlie, I have to really, I can't think I've arrived, you know. If you're an actor in Ghana, you think you've arrived, then you're deceiving yourself, you know. So no, peak is so far that I can't even see it, you know.
It's not there yet.
It's not there at all. So as far as acting, voiceovers, you know, no.
Okay, so you know, like we don't have a lot of time. I want to ask you lots of questions, but are you dating, married, single, searching? Single. Yeah. Are you searching?
Not exactly.
Ladies, he's single, but he's not searching. We're coming to the juicy part. Okay. So the ladies bring in the applications.
Oh, me, I wouldn't reject any applications, you know, but...
That's a Tema guy speaking, yo. Okay, us up. Thank you. Wish we had more time, but you're going to come back again. You're going to come back. Yeah, definitely.
I'll be more.
Yeah, I want to speak to you about Beast of No Nation. How did it getting in there and all of that? We'd like to find out more, but we are hard pressed for time. And you know, our show is very unpredictable.
And it's a very interesting story too. So
we can't wait to have that. We can't wait. So, guys, I said guys again. I apologize. So, neighbors, we've been speaking with Andrew Tando Adote. Yeah. If you are a theater lover and you love Uncle White, you should know Andrew. And a big guys. So before I end, I go to that birthday part. We've been spending time with Andrew. He's on social media. Go out there, look for him, follow his stuff, share his stuff, look at what he's up to, and look, Ghana to the world, the creative industry right now. So yeah, and yeah, we are still climaxing the birthday of our international producer, Cynthia Ama Fokuo. Today's her birthday, guys. You should see the style. I want to tease grandma, who is 85 today. The party is all here at GTV Breakfast. Remember, we've been spending the last part of our show with Andrew. Andrew's voice is, I want to hear what your voice sounds on phone, but they're going to cut me off right now. So that'll go after the show. Guys, this has been our show. Catch us again at 11 p.m. on GTV. And tomorrow, the hashtag is GTV Breakfast. We are going to have a party. So see you on the overdosing side.